Let's talk about how the 49ers players feel about Brandon Aiyuk leaving. This has been interesting, right? Because players won't just come out and be like, yeah, I hate him. Get him off the team. Like it's all coded. How you feel about, that's my brother. That's my brother. But Christian yesterday said, anytime you have a former teammate, a teammate, he really said that former teammate. He called him that on NFL Network. So that was him sort of saying like, good riddance. Basically said, I care for Aiyuk like I care for any other teammate, which is the lowest form of affection you can express for a teammate in football. It's probably what Montana would have said about Young. Yeah, I like him like I liked all my teammates. But so yeah, former teammate, good riddance, Brandon, and your grievances. Then today, Deebo Samuel, who's just in the best mood all of a sudden. You guys notice that? Such a great mood. Today, I asked him about Jennings. Like, how much has Juwan improved this in the last year? He looks like he's having such a good camp. And he was like, Deebo's smart. He's like, I wouldn't say that he's improved. I actually think he's the most consistent receiver on the team. I wouldn't say he's improved. I think he's the most consistent receiver on the team. Just like, oh, I thought that was supposed to be Brandon, right? Brandon's the route runner and the number one receiver. No. It's Jennings, according to Deebo. So I thought that was a subtle jab at Brandon Aiyuk, who took a lot of not so subtle jabs at a lot of players on the Niners this offseason. He's basically said Deebo wasn't a wide receiver. He kept saying he's the best true wide receiver on the team, the only true wide receiver on the team. He said he had to take a back seat. Not only that, he essentially said that the reason the Niners didn't win the Super Bowl is because he didn't get the ball enough. Like, these other jokes on the team got all the touches, but I'm the best player, and if they had just stuck with what got him there, which was him apparently, him and his 9 catches in the postseason, we would have won. Who wants to be teammates with a guy like that? Think of it as like a basketball team, a starting 5. It's Aiyuk, Deebo, Jennings, Kittle, McCaffrey. And Aiyuk is the guy who takes the most shots on the team and still complains that he doesn't get enough opportunities. How do you think the other 4 guys feel about him? They're already sacrificing, and he tries to put himself above them? Now, easy to not like that guy. They say he's their brother, but sure, you could like Brandon, but do you want to be on his team? Do you want to get back at him for what he said? Do you remember what Jennings posted on social media less than a month ago? Remember, Brandon was starting to really ratchet up his rhetoric and how he felt and how important he thought he was to the team. And then Jennings posted on social media, on Instagram, he said, you got to be a different type of person to act like you do everything yourself, knowing dang well you not. And then, of course, a couple people were like, he's talking about Brandon Aiyuk? Because duh, obviously he is. And then he goes, I don't understand why people think I'm talking about football all the time. Yeah, sure. So I think we're kind of starting to see CMC, Deebo, Jennings. A lot of people are like, oh, you think you're better than us, huh? Well, we don't need you. We're happy without you. Jennings is really good. Deebo, look at it this way. Aiyuk has a grievance. He wants more money and more targets, right? They all do. They all want that. He's the one that complains, but they all sacrifice. So if he's gone, if he goes to Pittsburgh and they trade him for picks or an offensive lineman, you think Deebo's mad? You think Jennings is mad? With Aiyuk on the team, Jennings gets about 30 targets a year. With him off the team, he could get 75. Deebo could get 120. Kittle could get 120. I think they've thought about it and you're like, you know what? Enjoy Pittsburgh. I want more targets. You want more targets, Brandon? Go to Pittsburgh. I want more targets too, dude. And you know what? I'm better than you. You think Kittle thinks Aiyuk's better than him? You think Deebo thinks Aiyuk's better than him? They all think they're better than Aiyuk. They're all turned off by the way he tried to get his money this offseason. And I think they're all excited for the idea of his 110 targets being distributed amongst them. That's not going to Ricky Pearsall. It's not going to Chris Conley. It's going to Deebo, Jennings, Kittle, and McCaffrey. Good news for them. More targets, more money, more glory. I think it's interesting to see the players be like, yeah, Brandon's great, man. Now, Bosa wasn't like that. Bosa was like, yeah, he's a really good player, and I trust John and Kyle, but that'd be a tough guy to replace. That's interesting because Bosa isn't fighting for targets on offense. He got his money. He gets to play as much as he wants on defense, and he wants the offense to be good. But on offense, they have a whole problem. They don't have enough footballs to go around. I think you're seeing the offense kind of look around and practice being like, I like this. I like this. I get the ball now. You know who caught 2 passes today? Kyle Juszczyk. Remember him? The weapon? Here's the thing. I make fun of Juszczyk a lot because they pay him and he don't use him. And it's like, man, you just get money to go in motion. That's crazy. But he's actually a good football player. And they pay him all this money. You might as well throw him the ball. He can run good routes and catch it. He was involved today. Honestly, the Niners have more than enough talent at the skill positions on offense. Will losing Aiyuk make them worse? Yes. Should they have traded him before the draft so they could get something to help him this year? Obviously. Is this one of the bigger botch jobs in franchise history? Yes, it's up there with the Trey Lance deal. Just a total botch. But it is interesting to see how, at this point, I think what would galvanize the team more is him leaving. He comes back after all this. Where does he stand with the team? How do they look at him? Is he divisive? Does he continue to complain? Are some guys on his side? Or most guys not with him? If he leaves, are people like, all right, cool, we're a team again. We got that malcontent out of here. Him and all his personal issues. Let's get back to sacrificing and doing what it takes to win a Super Bowl. That's what is going to bring this team together, not bringing him back. That's what's so interesting about the whole situation, man. I don't think he can come back to this team. He has put himself above the whole team. This is what T.O. did 20 years ago in a different way, with a different personality, in a much louder way. But once you put yourself over the team and you're the topic of conversation, you got to go. Unless you're the quarterback. Got to go. If he's here, even if he's suited up playing on the 5th-year option, the story every day is Brandon Aiyuk happy? Well, how did Brandon Aiyuk look in the locker room today? Brandon Aiyuk walked through in the locker room and he was frowning. He was definitely frowning. He didn't talk to anyone today. He just walked through and that's news. Don't you hate that? But the thing about news is it's not what the media wants it to be. It's just is what it is. Brandon's on the team, 5th-year option. His feelings are more important than anything that happens with the roster on the field. Oh, cool. They had practice today. They had interviews. So-and-so talked about football. So-and-so said, but what did Brandon look like? Was Brandon there? Yeah. But I mean, Ronnie Bell, and there was Renardo Green, and all these people did great things. Said there's these players, all these great stories. Yeah. But what about Brandon's feelings? And then every press conference, hey, have you talked to Brandon? How's Brandon doing? It's been a few weeks. Has he kind of changed? Has he changed his feelings? How's Brandon? Wasn't that why the Niners got rid of Trey last year? It's like, hey man, he's just a distraction. Every time Grant streams, he's talking about the backup quarterback competition. We want the focus to be on the starters. You got to go. Sorry, Trey. Sorry. It's like the focus was still on the field. It wasn't like now. It was just focused on the backups. Now the focus is on who's here. Is he here? He wasn't there today. Players hate that shit. I'll tell you right now. They don't want, they're not going to be in the NFL that long. If they have a good game, if they have a good practice, if they make a good play, they want recognition. They want it to be about them for a change, man. George Odom picked off 2 passes today. Today's his day. He wants it. How many days has George Odom had where it's George Odom day in NFL world? None. Every day is Brandon Aiyuk day. And I think if the Niners win a game week 1 and Ayuk's there and he's still holding in, or he played and he only didn't get that many catches, and that's the story that overshadows the win, a lot of players are going to be mad about that. Hey, can it be about football now? Hey, we're trying to win a Super Bowl here. Hey, we're a team. Hey, it's not all about him. So, yeah, I mean, he's not coming back. And, I do think he pissed off the players and the coaches when he came out last week and dapped up John and Kyle. Like, dude, why are you making this about you? So now the story today is Brandon Aiyuk walked on the field and gave Kyle a hug, but he didn't give John a hug. What did that mean? What did that mean? As opposed to D Winters was great. Let's have a day for D. It's freaking training camp. And Brandon Aiyuk's a superstar. It'll be about him every day, every week on whatever team he's on. That'll be his week. Can we talk about freaking Renardo Green today, or George Odom, or D Winters, or Malik Collins? No, because you showed up. Since then, he showed up one more time, sat in the corner and tried to hide, did nothing, and then hasn't been out there since. I don't think they can tell him what to do, but at the same time, I think they really don't want him to be there. Because he shouldn't be there. He should be in Pittsburgh. He should have been in Pittsburgh in April. And I can't wait to hear how the Niners benefited from waiting.